The phone vibrated on the dining room table. It was 8 p.m. on a random Thursday, but I knew that vibration was going to change everything. The iMessage group chat was named the Vance Sterling family, a name that reeked of old money, of a lineage that no longer held any real weight, but which they kept dragging around like war medals. 23 new photos. I opened the chat with a steady pulse. There they all were. Callahan, my husband, with that expensive veneer smile he always flashed when his mother was looking at him. Sutton, my sister-in-law, with her acrylic nails pointing at the horizon as if she were conquering something far grander than a hotel terrace. Thaddeus, my father-in-law, with his bourbon and prime rib belly and his pose of a weary patriarch. And in the center, Eleanor, the matriarch, dressed in pristine white, acting as if she were Jackie Kennedy on an official state vacation. The background was the historic Battery in Charleston, South Carolina. My heart skipped a beat not out of surprise, but because it confirmed what I already knew. They had gone on a family vacation without me. Again, I swiped down. The comments began to load. "So beautiful, Mom," Sutton wrote. "Shame someone's missing." "Someone," Eleanor replied with a crying, laughing emoji. "Nobody important is missing." Then, a photo of Bramble, our old golden retriever, which I had sent to the group that morning because no one was answering my private texts. Someone had screenshotted it and reposted it with text layered over it. "The queen of the house doing what she does best." Sutton followed up with a voice memo. "I played it. Look, Mom, the one who stays home. She was born for that, to be a dog sitter. We were born to live. You know what? I propose a toast to our animal nanny. Cheers." 3 seconds later, more audio messages arrived. Laughter. So much laughter. Eleanor's sounded like glass shattering. Sutton's like a knife being sharpened. My left hand gripped the phone until my knuckles turned white. My right hand was already dialing the Chase Sapphire Preferred Customer Service line. I had the number memorized from the countless times I'd called to resolve credit card holds, increase limits, or authorize large payments. Always for them. Never for me. "Good evening. My name is Maeve Gallagher, primary account holder for the accounts linked to the Vance Sterling family. I need to cancel 6 credit cards associated with my name. Miss Gallagher, could you please verify your identity? Account number 458723901. Date of birth, the 12th of March, 1990. Zip code 60614. Verifying. One moment, please." While the hold music played, I opened the refrigerator. Empty. As usual. They had gone to Charleston with my money, with the cards I had applied for to help the family out. As Callahan used to say every time I signed a new piece of plastic over to his mother, his father, or his sister. "It's temporary," he'd say. "My mom is going through a rough patch. My sister needs a breather. My dad needs some medical tests." It was always temporary, always a breather, always tests. And I always stayed quiet. "Miss Gallagher, I have the cards here. A Visa signature in the name of Eleanor Vance Sterling. A MasterCard Black in the name of Thaddeus Sterling. An American Express Platinum for Sutton Vance Sterling. 2 additional credit cards for Callahan Vance Sterling. And a corporate card linked to your primary checking. Cancel them. All of them. Right now." "Understood. I will process the immediate cancellation. It will be logged at 8:13 p.m. today. Would you like written confirmation?" "Yes, by email." "Very well. Anything else?" "Yes. Can you tell me the current available balance on my primary checking account?" "One moment. Available balance, $285,450. I closed my eyes. 6 years of working in corporate finance. 6 years of saving while they spent. 6 years of watching my money evaporate on dinners, luxury resorts, private clinics, and nameless whims. Thank you. Have a good night." I hung up just as the phone began to vibrate with an incoming call from Callahan. I answered on the 3rd ring. "Maeve, what the hell did you just do?" His voice was ragged, like he'd been screaming in the middle of the street. "I canceled the cards, Callahan. All of them. Are you out of your mind? We're in Charleston. We just finished dinner at a 5-star restaurant, and there was no way to pay. My mother had to call a friend in Chicago to wire us money. Do you know how humiliating that was?" "Humiliating," I repeated, noticing my voice sounded strangely calm. "Talk to me about humiliating, Callahan. Tell me what it feels like when your wife stays home while you go on vacation with your family and laugh at her in a group chat." "That was a joke, Maeve. You're always so sensitive." My mom didn't mean anything by it. You know how she is. She has a sharp sense of humor, but she doesn't mean any harm. Right, a joke. Like when she said my father was a blue-collar mechanic with no future. Or when Sutton commented that my wedding dress looked like an off-the-rack thrift store find. Or when Thaddeus said my promotion at the firm was probably because I was sleeping with the partners. Jokes. All jokes. Don't start with this again, Maeve. My family appreciates you. But you always find a reason to get offended. Appreciate me? Callahan, your mother announced in front of all our guests at my birthday dinner that I didn't understand wine because I grew up drinking boxed Franzia. Your sister asked me to watch her kids so she could go shopping on the Magnificent Mile, and then complained that I used the wrong organic shampoo on them. Your father doesn't even look at me when I walk into a room. That's appreciation? You're exaggerating. You always exaggerate. I'm not exaggerating, Callahan. I've kept my mouth shut for 6 years. 6 years swallowing your jokes and your it's not a big deals. But this time is different. This time you excluded me from a trip and mocked me publicly. We didn't exclude you. My mother organized the trip and we figured you wouldn't want to come. You prefer being at home. You always say that. I never said that. You said it for me. Just like you say everything for me. Silence. Then his voice shifted, turning hard and cold. Look, I'm not going to argue with you. Unfreeze the cards right now. Or, I'm going to have to take measures. Measures? What measures, Callahan? Are you going to ground me from Sunday brunch? Are you going to tell your mother not to invite me on the next trip? Wait. You already didn't invite me to this one. What else can you possibly take from me? I can take a lot of things, Maeve. Starting with the house. The Lincoln Park townhouse is in my name, Callahan. I bought it before I even met you. Just like the SUV, just like the furniture, just like everything in this life we've supposedly built. That's not true. I've paid bills. I've contributed. You contributed $45,000 a year. I make $180,000. You paid the electric and water bills. I paid the mortgage, the vacations, the medical bills, your nephew's private school tuitions, your father's out-of-pocket surgeries, your mother's spa retreats. Everything. Don't be ridiculous. That money is ours. We are married. We are married. Yes. And exactly because of that, tomorrow morning I'm going to see a lawyer. A heavy, suffocating silence fell over the line. What did you just say? You heard me. Tomorrow I'm going to see Delaney. I'm initiating divorce proceedings. You can't do that. I love you, Maeve. I've always loved you. If you loved me, you would have defended me. If you loved me, you wouldn't have let your mother call me the help at Thanksgiving. If you loved me, you wouldn't have gone to Charleston without me. I had to go. It was my mother's birthday. And mine was last week, remember? No, of course you guys were busy planning this trip. You didn't even buy me a gift. You said you'd give me something when you got back. I'll buy you something. I'll buy you whatever you want. I don't want anything of yours, Callahan. I don't want anything at all. Enjoy Charleston. Tell your mother that the toast to the dog nanny is going to cost her dearly. I hung up. The silence of the house wrapped around me. Bramble, the old lab mix, came over and rested his heavy head on my lap. I stroked his ears as the tears finally began to fall. But they weren't tears of sadness. They were tears of rage, contained for years, of accumulated humiliations, of silences that could no longer be sustained. I picked up my phone and opened the group chat. 9 new messages, all from Eleanor. Maeve, what did you do to my cards? Maeve, this isn't funny. Answer me, you spoiled brat. I'm going to sue you. My lawyer will take everything you have. Callahan, tell your wife to answer. This is incredibly disrespectful. You left us stranded in Charleston. I smiled. I typed a single message. Good night, family. Get some rest. Tomorrow is going to be a very long day. Then I muted the group and dialed Delta Airlines. Hi, I need to cancel 6 plane tickets. Confirmation number 7843GM. Primary account holder. Maeve Gallagher. Miss Gallagher, those tickets are for a flight tomorrow from Charleston back to Chicago O'Hare. Are you sure? Completely sure. Please process the cancellation. Reason for cancellation? Change of plans, I replied. Turns out someone has to stay home to watch the dog. The agent hesitated for a second. Understood. The cancellation has been processed. You'll receive a confirmation email. Anything else? Yes. Can I also cancel the hotel reservations associated with that itinerary? Do you have the confirmation numbers? Yes. I rattled them off. The Dewberry Hotel. Rooms 204, 205, 206, and 207. And the Wentworth Mansion. The Presidential Suite. All under my name, all paid with my card. Cancellations confirmed. The funds will be refunded to your original payment method. Anything else? No, thank you. Good night. I hung up. I looked at my phone. 7 unread notifications. 23 missed calls from Callahan. 12 from Sutton. 8 from Eleanor. 4 from an unknown number. And 1 text from Delaney, my lawyer and best friend from college. Maeve, call me as soon as you can. I'm hearing rumors. I put the phone in my pocket. I went to the kitchen and made myself a cup of tea. Bramble followed me, his tail wagging slowly. Easy, boy, I whispered. This is just the beginning. Outside, the night fell over Chicago. Inside me, something that had been asleep for 6 years finally woke up. Something called dignity. And it was here to stay. The alarm went off at 6:30 a.m. I hadn't slept well, but I hadn't slept poorly either. There was something liberating in knowing that, for the first time in years, I didn't have to answer to anyone. I got up, made coffee, and sat by the kitchen window. Chicago was waking up gray and brisk. But to me, it looked like the brightest day of my life. My phone had 3 unread notifications. 31 missed calls from Callahan. 17 from Sutton. 12 from Eleanor. 3 from an unrecognized number. And a new text from Delaney. Maeve, call me. Your mother-in-law is calling half the Gold Coast. Before returning any calls, I opened my banking app. Available balance, $4,150. It had dropped slightly due to some pending hotel cancellation fees, but it was still a highly respectable amount. Enough to start over, enough to prove to them that I was not their personal ATM. I dialed Delaney. Tell me it isn't true, she said the moment she picked up. Tell me you didn't cancel your in-laws' credit cards while they were in South Carolina. It's true. Maeve, do you know what they're saying? That Eleanor called everyone in her country club crying last night. That Thaddeus had to go to the ER because his blood pressure spiked. That Callahan is frantically looking for you. He even called my firm asking for you. Thaddeus always has high blood pressure. Eleanor calls everyone when she doesn't get her way. It's her strategy. Make everyone think she's the victim. But why now? What exactly happened? I explained the group chat. The photos, the audio messages, the laughter. The comment about me being born to be a dog sitter. The toast at my expense. Delaney was silent for a few seconds. When she spoke, her voice was dead serious. They've been humiliating you for years, Maeve. I've seen it at every dinner party, every gathering. But you never did anything. I always thought one day you'd explode. I guess today is that day. Yes. Okay, listen to me carefully. If you're going to do this, do it right. First, do not answer anyone. Let them squirm. Second, compile all your financial documentation from the last 6 years. Everything. Bank statements, wire transfers, receipts, emails where Callahan asks you for money for his family. Third, come to my office this afternoon. Illinois is an equitable distribution state. If he tries to claim half your assets, we are going to file for a fault-based financial settlement based on the dissipation of marital assets. If we prove he funneled marital funds to his parents without your true consent, a judge will obliterate him. Can we do that? With the right paper trail and a good judge, we can do almost anything. Trust me. I trust you. We hung up. I dressed calmly. Black trousers, a crisp white silk blouse, the pearl necklace my mother gave me before she died. I was going to face the Vance Sterlings, and I wanted to do it with my head held high. The phone wouldn't stop ringing. I decided to answer one last call before leaving. It was Sutton. Finally, she shrieked. Do you have any idea what you've done? Dad is in the hospital. Mom hasn't stopped crying. Callahan is a wreck. And we are stranded at the Charleston airport because someone canceled our return tickets. Do you know what it's like being in an airport with two toddlers not knowing how you're going to get home? Oh, really? What a shame. Don't play cute, you bitch. We are going to sue you. This is embezzlement or something. My lawyer, Mr. Sterling Hayes, says you have to pay us back. Everything you've cost us. Sutton, sweetheart, I said, my voice dripping with honey. Who do you think is the primary account holder on those cards? Who do you think paid for those tickets? You. Me. Everything is in my name. So go tell your lawyer to sue Maeve Gallagher, the owner of the money. That money belongs to Callahan, too. You're married. It's marital property. Sure, but I opened these accounts before we even met. The funds that paid for your little southern getaway came from my personal accounts. So no, it's not Callahan's money. It's mine. All of it. Silence. Then, a sob. Maeve, please? We have the kids. We can't stay here. We need to get back. The kids have school, they have soccer, they have doctors. You can rent a car, catch a Greyhound, or ask Mommy Dearest to bust out her checkbook. Oh, wait. She doesn't have a checkbook because I cut her off. And I cut you off, too. You are a miserable, heartless snake. My mother was right about you from the beginning. You were nothing but a social climbing gold digger who infiltrated our family. I infiltrated your family? Sutton? You people infiltrated my bank account for 6 years? And now the party is over. You'll regret this. I swear to God you'll regret this. Have a safe trip back, Sutton. Hitchhike if you have to. I don't care. I hung up and blocked her number. I blocked Eleanor's too, and Thaddeus's, and the unknown numbers that kept calling. Immediately after, a call from Callahan came through. I hesitated, then answered. I wanted to hear what he had to say. Maeve, please. His voice sounded defeated, almost broken. Enough. My dad is in the hospital. They say it was a mild heart attack. But he's in the ICU. My mom won't stop crying. The kids are scared. Sutton won't stop screaming at me. Please, turn the cards back on, rebook the flights, and let's talk. We can fix this. Callahan, I've been your family's ATM and nanny for 6 years. 6 years of funding your lifestyle. And what did I get in return? Humiliation, contempt, mockery, and exclusion. That's not true. My mom loves you. She always says you're a good girl. That you work hard. Your mother despises me, and you know it. But you didn't care as long as I kept paying. As long as I funded the country club aesthetic, everything was fine. She could treat me like the help. She could mock my upbringing. She could exclude me from family trips. It was all fair game, as long as the direct deposits cleared. That's not true. I love you. Truly. If you loved me, you'd have defended me. If you loved me, you wouldn't have laughed at me in a group chat. I had to go. It was my mom's 70th birthday. I couldn't let her down. And mine was last week. My 34th. Remember? No, of course not. You were planning this trip. Where is my gift, Callahan? I'll buy it for you. I'll get you a Birkin bag, a trip to Europe, whatever you want. I don't want your empty promises. All I want is for you to sign the divorce papers. I'm not signing anything. You're my wife. I love you. We are going to fix this. There is nothing to fix. I canceled the cards, the flights, the hotels. I canceled your luxury life at my expense. Maeve, I'm begging you. Think about what you've done. My father is in the hospital. If something happens to him, it will be your fault. My fault? I gave your dad a heart attack? No, Callahan. Your family's excesses, your reckless spending, your constant stress to maintain the illusion of wealth that gave him a heart attack. You are cold. So cold. I don't even recognize you. Maybe this is the first time you're actually looking at me. The first time I refused to swallow your poison. I hung up. I looked at myself in the entryway mirror. My eyes were red, but my gaze was firm. My jaw was clenched, but my shoulders were straight. Let's go, Maeve, I said aloud. Time to collect what's yours. I grabbed my purse, my keys, and walked out. The June sun beat down on Chicago. The city smelled of summer, of the lake, of freedom, of new beginnings. My phone vibrated one last time before I got in the car. It was an SMS from Eleanor. Maeve, sweetheart, forgive us. It was just a stupid joke. We didn't know what we were doing. Come back home, we are begging you. Thaddeus is doing very poorly. Don't do this to us. I read it 3 times. Then I deleted it. Some jokes are unforgivable, and some wars have only just begun. I started the engine and headed toward Delaney's office. On the radio, an 80s song about second chances was playing. I smiled. I didn't believe in second chances. I believed in first vengeances. And mine was unfolding perfectly. 3 days passed. 3 days of unanswered calls. 3 days of blocking numbers like someone permanently locking doors. 3 days of Delaney and I preparing the legal battlefield. She had gathered all the documentation. Bank statements, credit card agreements, emails where Callahan pleaded for credit limit increases for his mother, texts from Eleanor demanding Zelle transfers for family emergencies. Everything was ready. On Thursday night, while I was eating dinner alone in front of the TV, I heard the key turn in the lock. My heart raced, but I didn't take my eyes off the screen. I knew he was coming. It was just a matter of time. Callahan walked in. He looked 10 years older. Unshaven, sunken eyes. His dress shirt wrinkled and stained. He smelled of stale airport coffee, sweat, and desperation. He was wearing the same clothes from the trip. Maeve, he said, his voice trembling like a scared child's. I need to talk to you. The entryway is to your right. You can pack your things and leave. I left some boxes by the door with your immediate belongings. Clothes, documents, some books. That's it. Please, just listen to me. 5 minutes. I turned the TV off, swiveled to face him, crossed my arms, and stared him down. Talk. But make it quick. I'm tired. Callahan collapsed into the armchair across from me, burying his face in his hands. When he looked up, his eyes were brimming with tears. My dad is still in the hospital. They had to do an emergency catheterization. His artery is 70% blocked. The doctors said if he hadn't gotten there in time, he could have died. And that's supposed to make me feel guilty? Callahan, your father is 68, weighs 280 pounds, smokes 2 packs a day, and eats red meat for every meal. Doctors have been telling him to change his lifestyle for a decade. This isn't my fault. It's his, and your mother's for enabling him. Don't be cruel. My mom is destroyed. Your mom is destroyed because she doesn't have an Amex Black card anymore, not because your dad is sick. If she was so worried, she wouldn't have found the time to call half of Lincoln Park to spin her victim narrative. Callahan clenched his fists. You have no right to speak about my mother that way. No, right? I've been financially supporting your mother for 6 years, Callahan. 6 years paying for her whims, her trips, her doctors, her designer clothes. I think I have every right in the world to speak about her however I please. My mom never asked you to support her. You did it because you wanted to. Because I wanted to? Lie. I did it because you begged me. Because if I didn't, you'd call me selfish. Because your mother would hint that I was a cheap, classless outsider. Because you made me feel that if I didn't pay the toll, I didn't deserve to be in this family. That's not true. Nobody forced you. No? Then why did you throw a fit every time I tried to say no? Why was there always a sudden emergency with your mom whenever I wanted to put money into our savings? Why did your sister constantly need loans for the kids, and you told me we couldn't turn our backs on family? Callahan looked down. I don't know. I guess we just got used to it. Exactly. You got used to me paying for everything. You got used to living off me. You got used to humiliating me while swiping my plastic. But that's over. Maeve, I love you. Truly, I do. I don't want to lose you. You already lost me, Callahan. You lost me the day you let your mother cut me out of that trip. You lost me the day you laughed at me in that group chat. You lost me the day you chose your family's vanity over your wife. I can change. We can go to couples therapy. We can start over, sell this townhouse, move somewhere else, get away from my family. I don't want to get away from your family. I want to get away from you. Callahan stood up abruptly, pacing the living room like a caged animal. Okay. You're right. I've been a coward. I haven't defended you the way I should have. I let myself be manipulated by my mom, by my sister, but I can change. I swear on my life I can change. Promises are cheap, Callahan. Actions matter. And your actions over the last 6 years have been crystal clear. Not once did you put me first. This time will be different. No, it won't. Because even if you changed, your family wouldn't. And I refuse to be their punchline anymore. Callahan stopped in front of me, his eyes pleading. Then what do you want? Tell me what you want and I'll give it to you. I want a divorce. I want you to sign the papers. I want you to walk out of this house and never come back. I'm not signing anything. Then a judge will do it for you. And when they see the paper trail I have, I promise you, you aren't going to like the outcome. What paper trail? I pulled a thick folder from the coffee table drawer, opened it, and began laying documents out one by one. Here are the bank statements from the last 6 years. Every wire transfer to your mother's account. Every credit card statement for your father. Every Venmo payment to Sutton. Total amount, $215,600. Callahan went pale. He took a step back. That can't be right. It can, and it is. And here are the emails where you explicitly asked me to increase the credit limits, where you told me your mother needed this, your father needed that, your sister was in a bind. All documented, all tied to you. But that was to help the family. Exactly. Your family. Not mine. And now, under Illinois law, I am filing for dissipation of marital assets. Your family is going to have to explain to a judge why they funneled marital funds to support a lifestyle they couldn't afford. Callahan fell to his knees, literally dropped to the hardwood floor and grabbed my hands. They were cold and shaking. Maeve, I'm begging you, don't do this. My mom is old. My dad is in the hospital. Sutton has 2 little kids. If you go after them for that money, they'll be out on the street. My mom has no income. My dad lives on a meager pension. Sutton depends on Kellen. Then they can figure it out. Just like I did when I moved to Chicago at 22 with $500 in my pocket. Just like I did working 6 zero-hour weeks. Just like I did when I saved up to buy this house. They'll survive. You are strong. They aren't. They haven't had to be strong because they've been living like parasites off my labor. But that ends today. Callahan broke down sobbing. Deep, gut-wrenching sobs that shook his entire body. For a fraction of a second, I felt something. A flicker of pity. An ember of the love I once had for this man. I remembered our first months dating, the promises. I remembered our wedding day. But then I remembered the photos. The audio clips. The laughter. The toast to the dog nanny. And the ember died. Get up, Callahan. Stop humiliating yourself. I'm not humiliating myself. I'm begging you. For our marriage. For everything we've shared. What have we shared? Tell me. The trips I paid for that you enjoyed with your family? The dinners I hosted that your mother critiqued? The weekends I spent alone while you played golf with your college buddies? We had good times. Our honeymoon in Rome. That summer in the Hamptons. Christmas at home, where your mother sent me to the kitchen to scrub pans while the real Vance Sterlings relaxed. The honeymoon I paid for because you were between jobs. The summer in the Hamptons where your sister dumped her kids on me so she could go day drinking. No. The good doesn't outweigh the bad. And the bad has been far too much. My phone buzzed. It was Delaney. Go ahead, I said. I just got an alert, Delaney said. Eleanor tried to use a credit card in Sutton's name to pull out a cash advance at an ATM. But the card was blocked because Sutton canceled it yesterday, probably to stop her mother from using it. And it looks like they've tried to apply for a quick online personal loan. But since they have no verifiable income, they were denied. I also heard they're calling extended family begging for cash. I smiled. Perfect. Keep monitoring. I want to know every move they make. Who was that? Callahan asked from the floor. Your mother, trying to scrounge up cash. Callahan stood up. His expression shifted. The sadness gave way to something darker. Something cornered and vicious. His eyes hardened. You're going to ruin my family. No, Callahan. You ruined yourselves. I just stopped funding the illusion. I'm going to countersue. I'll tell everyone what you did. Your colleagues, your friends, Everyone is going to know what a psycho you are. Do it. Tell whoever you want. But remember, everything is in my name, and I have proof that you funneled marital assets without my explicit consent for years. It's called financial fraud. And I have witnesses. We didn't defraud you. You're my wife. The money belonged to both of us. The money was mine, Callahan. You brought nothing to the table. And the little you did, you spent on your precious family. Callahan turned around and marched toward the door. Before leaving, he spun back one last time. My mother was right from the start. She said you weren't good enough for this family. She said you had no class, no pedigree, no values. She said you married me for status, and she was right. If your mother was so right, why were you all living off my paycheck? Why did you accept my credit cards, my gifts, my vacations? If I was so inferior, why were you so eager to be my dependents? Callahan had no answer. He opened the door and walked out, slamming it so hard the windows rattled. I was left alone in the silence. Bramble came over and nudged my leg. I petted his head as the tears fell again. Not tears of sadness. Tears of liberation. It's just us now, boy, I whispered. But we're going to be okay. The phone rang again. This time it was Eleanor. Her number flashed on the screen, and for some reason, I decided to answer. Hello? Maeve, sweetheart. My mother-in-law's voice sounded gravelly, broken, completely unlike the haughty woman I had known. Forgive us, please. It was a stupid joke. We shouldn't have done it. We didn't realize what we were doing. I'm begging you, don't leave us like this. Eleanor, do you remember what you told me on my wedding day? In front of all my bridesmaids, you said, Maeve, I hope you know how to rise to the level of this family. And I, like an idiot, smiled and nodded. I remember. It was a mistake. I shouldn't have said it. Well, now I know that this family isn't on my level. None of you are. Good night, Eleanor. Maeve, please. Thaddeus is very sick. The doctors say he needs specialized surgery out of network. We don't have the money. We'll pay you back, I swear it. But we need help now. I'm sorry, Eleanor, but your emergencies are no longer my problem. I've spent 6 years solving your emergencies. Now it's your turn. You are a wretched, evil person. God is going to punish you. God already punished me, Eleanor. He gave me a set of in-laws who humiliated me for 6 years. But he also gave me the strength to walk away. Goodbye. I hung up. I blocked her number. Then I blocked Callahan, Sutton, Thaddeus. All of them. I stared at the phone. Silence. Peace. For the first time in 6 years, I didn't have to report to anyone. I didn't have to justify my spending, my decisions, my life. I was free. Bramble wagged his tail and licked my hand. Tomorrow starts a new life, buddy, I said. A life without them. And for the first time in a long time, I slept deeply. No nightmares, no regrets, no fear. Just peace. 2 weeks passed. 2 weeks without hearing a word from the Vance Sterlings. 2 weeks dedicated to reorganizing my life, scrubbing the townhouse of any trace of Callahan, and preparing the legal groundwork. Delaney had secured a temporary order of protection. Eleanor and Sutton were barred from coming within 500 feet of me. Callahan was allowed to enter the house to retrieve his belongings, but only with a police escort and 48 hours' notice. But they never respected boundaries. It was a Friday afternoon. I was home reviewing the discovery documents Delaney had sent over for the preliminary divorce hearing. Bramble was asleep at my feet, snoring softly. Suddenly, the doorbell rang. Insistent. Long. As if whoever was pressing it was in a manic rush. I looked through the peephole. My stomach dropped. There they were. Eleanor and Sutton, standing together like an invading army. Eleanor was wearing head-to-toe black, her hair pulled back in a tight bun that stretched the skin on her face. Sutton was wearing oversized sunglasses, even though it was 6 p.m. and overcast. Behind them, a luxury SUV was double-parked on the street. A man was waiting inside Kellen, Sutton's husband, I assumed. I didn't open the door. They rang again. Harder. Maeve, we know you're in there, Eleanor yelled. Open the door. I stood perfectly still. Bramble woke up and let out a low growl. Maeve, open up or we're calling the cops, Sutton threatened. The cops are already on their way, I shouted through the heavy wood. I have an order of protection. If you don't leave, I'm pressing charges. You don't have a restraining order against us. That's a lie. I have a temporary order signed by a Cook County judge. If you want, I can show it to the officers when they pull up. Silence. Then Eleanor started pounding on the door with her fists. Open the damn door. I need to talk to you. It's about Thaddeus. He's in the hospital. That is not my fault. He's getting worse. The doctors say he needs the VIP surgical suite, and we don't have the upfront cash. That is not my problem. It is your problem. You caused this. You gave him the heart attack when you cut off our cards. I clenched my fists. I took a deep breath. Eleanor, leave before the police get here. I don't want to have them drag you away in handcuffs. Call them! Call the cops! Eleanor shrieked. Let the whole neighborhood see what kind of person you are. A woman who abandons her husband, who leaves her father-in-law to die in a hospital, who bankrupts a whole family. Sutton joined the chorus. You're a psychopath, Maeve. Everyone knows it. The country club is talking about nothing else. The woman who destroyed the Vance Sterlings. I didn't destroy you. I just stopped paying for your lives. Liar. You stole money from the family accounts. You drained them. Those accounts were mine. Every cent in them was mine. You people haven't contributed a dime. My brother worked for years to support you, Sutton screamed. I let out a bitter laugh. Support me? On $45,000 a year? While I made $180,000? While I paid for your trips, your dinners, your doctors? That's supporting me? Liar, it's all a lie. Eleanor started to cry. But it wasn't genuine sadness. It was a theatrical wail, rehearsed like a soap opera actress. Maeve, please. Thaddeus is dying. The bypass costs $40,000 out of pocket for the specialist. We don't have it. We'll pay you back, I swear it. Eleanor, you've been asking me for loans for 6 years. 6 years of debts you never repay. 6 years of emergencies I have to fix. I'm done. This time is different. It's Thaddeus's life. Thaddeus's life depends on his clogged arteries, not my bank account. If you want, I can recommend a great surgeon who takes standard Medicare. But I am not paying for a private VIP concierge doctor. You're a murderer, Sutton screamed. You want my dad to die. I pulled out my phone and dialed 911. Yes, I have 2 individuals at my front door violating an active order of protection. Address is Lincoln Park. Yes, I'll hold. Eleanor and Sutton heard me through the door. They looked at each other, hesitating. We're leaving, Eleanor spat. But this isn't over. We are going to sue you for everything. Go ahead, I don't care anymore. They marched back to the SUV and sped off. I leaned against the door and let out a long breath. Bramble came over and licked my hand. It's okay, buddy, I whispered. But I knew it wouldn't be the last time. The Vance Sterlings didn't surrender easily, especially when they smelled money. The next day, I went to Delaney's office. I told her what happened. They violated the protection order, she said, her face grim. That's serious. We can file for an arrest warrant. I don't want to take it that far. I just want them to leave me alone. Maeve, listen to me. These people aren't going to stop. As long as they think they can intimidate you into cutting a check, they will harass you. The only way they stop is if you hit them where it hurts. The law. What do you suggest? I suggest you file a formal police report for trespassing and violating the order. Even if they didn't get inside, showing up at your house is enough for a judge to escalate it. Fine. Do it. Delaney nodded. She pulled a thick binder from her desk. On another note, I've prepared the divorce petition. I want you to review it before we file. I opened it. Page after page of documents. Bank statements, emails, iMessage transcripts, affidavits from friends and coworkers. Do you think we have enough proof for the dissipation of assets? I asked. More than enough. A judge will clearly see a pattern of financial abuse and coercion. Callahan won't have a leg to stand on. He'll have to accept a totally unequal division of assets in your favor to offset what he funneled to his parents. And Eleanor's debt? That's trickier. We might have to sue her in civil court separately. But with this paper trail, we can likely secure a judgment against her. How long will this take? If Callahan settles, a few months. If he fights it, a year. Maybe more. Let him fight. I have time. Delaney smiled. I love that attitude. But brace yourself. It's going to be a bloodbath. That night, my phone rang. Unknown number. I answered cautiously. Maeve? It was a male voice. Unfamiliar. It's Kellen, Sutton's husband. I need to talk to you. I have nothing to say to you, Kellen. Please. Just 5 minutes. It's about my wife. I hesitated. Speak. I know what happened. The credit cards, the Charleston trip, the divorce, and I know my wife and mother-in-law treated you like garbage. They didn't treat me like garbage. They humiliated me for 6 years. I know, and I'm sorry. I've been a victim of theirs too. Sutton has made my life hell since we got married. She drains my bank accounts, belittles me in front of my friends, and threatens to take the kids away if I don't do whatever she and her mother want. Why are you calling me? Because I want to help you. I have proof. Proof that Sutton and Eleanor planned this whole thing for months. They knew you were going to find out about the trip. They did it on purpose, to provoke you. I felt a chill run down my spine. What do you mean? The Charleston trip wasn't an accident. They planned to exclude you. They wanted you to react badly. They wanted you to have a meltdown so they could paint you as unstable during the divorce and go after your assets. How do you know all this? Because Sutton bragged about it to me. She thought her mother was a genius. She said Eleanor orchestrated the whole thing so you'd lose your temper, and they could walk away with the townhouse and half your retirement accounts. I gripped the phone tightly. And why are you telling me this now? Because I can't take it anymore. Because I'm filing for divorce from Sutton. And I need proof that she and her mother are manipulative abusers. I want full custody of my kids. I don't want them growing up watching their mother treat people like dirt. What proof do you have? Emails, texts, and audio recordings. I have Ring camera audio from inside the house. Audio recordings? Yes. Illinois is a two-party consent state, but I was a party to the conversation in my own home. I recorded them to protect myself. Are you willing to hand them over to my lawyer? Yes. But in exchange, I need you to testify in my custody battle. Help me prove that Sutton is emotionally abusive and unstable. I'll have to talk to my lawyer, but if the proof is solid, we have a deal. Thank you, Maeve. Seriously, thank you. Don't thank me yet, I said. This is just beginning. I hung up. The world was spinning. The trip to South Carolina wasn't just a mean joke. It was a calculated trap. A strategy to make me look like the crazy wife in court. And I had fallen for it, but I had also counterattacked. And now, I had an inside man. I smiled. The war had just begun, and for the first time, I had the heavy artillery. 3 months later, we were at the Daly Center in downtown Chicago, domestic relations court. The courtroom smelled of lemon polish and formality. The judge, a stern woman with piercing eyes, flipped through the motions while we waited in silence. To my left, Delaney, looking lethal in a navy blue suit. To my right, at the opposing table, Callahan, accompanied by his lawyer, Mr. Sterling Hayes, a short man with a trimmed mustache and a shark-like grin. Behind them, in the gallery, sat Eleanor and Sutton. Eleanor was dressed in funereal black. Sutton glared daggers at the back of my head. Your Honor, Delaney began, we intend to prove that for 6 years, the Vance Sterling family engaged in a systematic pattern of financial and psychological abuse against my client, Maeve Gallagher, resulting in the dissipation of over $200,000 in marital assets. Objection. Sterling Hayes jumped up. There is no proof of abuse. My client's family has always treated Miss Gallagher with respect. These allegations are defamatory. Respect? I whispered. Louder than I intended. Miss Gallagher, keep your voice down until you are called, the judge warned. Delaney took the floor again. Your Honor, I present Exhibit A, screenshots from a family iMessage group where Eleanor and Sutton Vance. Sterling openly mocked my client while enjoying a luxury vacation, funded entirely by my client's accounts. The images flashed on the courtroom monitors, the battery in Charleston, the cocktails, the comments, the one who stays home. She was born to be a dog sitter. Toast to the nanny. Those screenshots prove nothing, Sterling Hayes interrupted. They are inside family jokes. Every family has dark humor. Jokes? Delaney zoomed in on an image. Calling your daughter-in-law a dog sitter is a joke? Posting vacation photos to exclude her is a joke? The judge studied the screens, her expression tightening. Proceed, counselor. I present Exhibit B, bank statements spanning the last 6 years. They show my client transferred a total of $215,600 to accounts controlled by the Vance Sterling family and paid directly for their expenses, at the coercion of her husband. My client never asked for that money. Eleanor yelled from the gallery, half standing. Ma'am, sit down and remain silent, or the bailiff will remove you, the judge ordered. Furthermore, Delaney continued, I present Exhibit C, an audio recording lawfully obtained by Mr. Kellen Davis, husband to Sutton Vance Sterling, recorded in his own residence. Eleanor and Sutton whipped their heads around. They locked eyes with Kellen, who was sitting in the back row, arms crossed. What recording? Sutton shrieked, standing up. That's illegal! Bailiff, remove her, the judge snapped. 2 officers escorted a kicking and screaming Sutton out of the courtroom. The judge turned back to Delaney. Play the recording. The courtroom fell dead silent. Sutton's voice echoed through the speakers. Mom is a genius. She knew Maeve would explode if we left her off the Charleston itinerary. Then Kellen's voice. You set her up? Sutton. Obviously. She was cutting us off anyway. Better to make her look crazy first. The recording stopped. The silence was absolute. Eleanor had gone gray. Callahan was staring at the table, his mouth open. Your Honor, Delaney said smoothly. This demonstrates clear premeditation. The exclusion of my client was not a joke. It was a deliberate strategy to provoke emotional distress and exploit her financially in a divorce proceeding. Sterling Hayes stood up, visibly sweating. Your Honor, that recording was obtained without consent of all parties. Mr. Vance was a party to the conversation in his own home. The judge cut him off. It is admissible. Counsel. Does your client have a defense for attempting to defraud the court regarding marital assets? Callahan stood up. He looked pale. Sickly. I just wanted to keep the peace. I didn't know they planned it. You didn't know? I spoke up, ignoring Delaney's hand on my arm. You spent 6 years forcing me to fund their country club fantasy. You let them treat me like a maid. You let them insult my family. And you expect the judge to believe you were just an innocent bystander? Miss Gallagher, the judge said softly, but not unkindly. What are you asking the court for? I stood up. My legs shook, but my voice was iron. I am asking for a divorce. I am asking to retain 100% of my premarital property and 100% of my retirement accounts to offset the $215,000 dissipated by my husband. I am asking for a permanent order of protection against Eleanor and Sutton Vance Sterling. The judge looked at the evidence, looked at Callahan's defeated posture, and banged her gavel. Petition for divorce granted. Based on overwhelming evidence of financial dissipation and bad faith, the petitioner is awarded 100% of the disputed marital estate to offset the funds funneled to the respondent's family. A permanent order of protection is granted. Mr. Vance Sterling, you have 72 hours to arrange a final police escort to retrieve any remaining personal belongings. Thank you, Your Honor, I said. I walked out of the courtroom with my head held high. In the hallway, Eleanor was hyperventilating on a bench. You ruined us, she hissed as I walked by. I hope you rot. I didn't answer. I just kept walking. Delaney caught up with me. You okay? Yeah, I think I am. You won, Maeve. Total victory. No, Delaney. It's not a victory. It's just the end of a nightmare. We stepped out into the crisp Chicago air. For the first time in years, I took a deep breath and smiled. I was free. A year later, the storefront in the Gold Coast smelled of sugar, cinnamon, and new beginnings. The renovations had finished 3 weeks ago, and the bakery looked exactly as I had dreamed. White brick walls, gold accents, warmly lit glass display cases, and a marble counter where customers could sit with an espresso while choosing their pastries. Are you sure you want to go with that name? Cassia, my first employee, asked as she set out the napkins. Completely sure, I replied, stepping off a step stool after hanging the final sign above the door. Maeve's Vengeance gleamed in gold lettering against a deep burgundy background. I had debated it for weeks. Friends said it was too provocative, that people would think I was bitter. But Delaney convinced me. You spent 6 years hiding, Maeve, playing the perfect, quiet daughter-in-law. Now is your time. If you want to call it that, call it that. Let it be your vengeance, your rebirth. Customers are going to ask about it, Cassia laughed. Let them ask. I'll tell them the story, or they can read it in the Tribune. The local press picked up the court case. Apparently, I'm a minor feminist folk hero. Good for business. I hope so. Opening day was chaotic. I had barely slept, but when I saw the line forming down State Street, the exhaustion vanished. By 9 a.m., the shop was packed. Food bloggers, curious locals, people who had read the viral story. By noon, as the rush slowed, an unexpected customer walked in. Callahan. He wore a wrinkled suit, a loose tie, his hair longer and unkempt. He looked like he had aged a decade. Maeve, he said. His voice was different. Humbler. Broken. Callahan. What are you doing here? I came to see the place. Congratulate you. I heard about it from a friend. Well, you've seen it. You can leave. Please. Just 5 minutes. I just want to talk. I looked at Cassia, who was eyeing him warily. I sighed. Sit. 5 minutes. Not one more. He sat at a window table. I stood, arms crossed. The place is beautiful, he said. Why'd you name it that? Because it is what it is. My vengeance. My new life. My way of telling the world I'm not the woman who stays quiet anymore. He nodded slowly. I deserve that. I deserve all of it. I didn't expect to hear that from you. I've changed, Maeve. I've been in therapy. It helped me realize. I was a coward. I let my mother and sister abuse you. I failed you, over and over again. I knew that without needing a therapist to tell me. I know. But I understand it now, and I'm sorry. What do you want me to do with that? Forgive you? Take you back? No. I know that's impossible. I just wanted to apologize. I looked at him closely, searching for the manipulation, but only saw deep, hollow exhaustion. How is your mother? I asked, surprising myself. Bad. My dad's surgery went okay, but there were complications. He needs constant care. They had to sell their house to pay the medical debt. Sutton's going through a brutal divorce. Kellen got primary custody. She's living with my parents, broke. And me. I live in a studio in Bridgeport, working logistics, making $55,000 a year. It's nothing compared to our old life, but I'm surviving. I'm glad for you. Truly. I never wished you harm, Callahan. I just wanted to stop being your host. He stood up, pulled an envelope from his jacket, and placed it on the table. What's this? The first $5,000. Toward the debt. I know the judge didn't legally force me to repay the full $215,000 since you got the house. But morally, I owe it to you. I'll pay what I can every month until it's settled. You don't have to. I do. It's the right thing. He turned to the door. One last thing. My mom wants to see you. She says she needs to apologize in person. I don't think that's a good idea. Probably not, but she's changed. The illness broke her. She's not the same. People don't change that much, Callahan. I didn't change. I just stopped pretending. He nodded. Take care, Maeve. I hope you're happy. He left. Cassia came over. Was that him? Yeah. Did you forgive him? I don't know yet. I put the check in my apron pocket and went back to the counter. I had pastries to bake. A life to build. That evening, as we were closing up, an unknown number called. Maeve? It's Eleanor. My heart skipped a beat. How did you get my number? Callahan. Don't be mad at him. I begged him. I need to see you, just to apologize face to face. When? Tomorrow at 11 a.m. The Starbucks on Astor Street. I'll be there. The next morning, I walked into the coffee shop. Eleanor was already there. She wore a faded coat, no jewelry, no makeup. She looked tiny, fragile. Not the towering matriarch I remembered. Thank you for coming, she said. Talk. She took a shaky breath. I want to apologize for the trip, the jokes, the comments, for making you feel like you weren't enough. Why did you do it? Because I was terrified. Terrified of losing my son. Terrified that you were smarter, more successful, and that you didn't actually need us. I was so used to controlling everything through the illusion of money that when you came in with actual success, I felt completely inadequate. So I tried to tear you down. I never wanted to take him from you. I just wanted to be part of the family. I know. And I couldn't see it. She looked down, tears falling. Thaddeus is dying, Maeve. I have no money, no home. I realize now it's all my fault. My pride. My need for control. I don't know what to say to you, Eleanor. You don't have to say anything. I just wanted you to know I'm sorry. I looked at her. A defeated, tired old woman. I forgive you, Eleanor. But I don't want to see you ever again. This is a final goodbye. I understand. I stood up, left a $5 bill for my coffee, and walked out. The sun shone brightly on the Chicago pavement. I felt lighter than air. 6 months later, Maeve's vengeance was a staple in the Gold Coast. A journalist named Lucy from the Chicago Tribune came to interview me for a piece on female entrepreneurs who overcame adversity. I told her the whole story. "What advice would you give to women in similar situations?" she asked. "Don't wait 6 years like I did. Understand that love doesn't hurt, family doesn't humiliate, and respect is non-negotiable. If you have to, walk away. There is always time to start over." The article went viral. The bakery had lines around the block. I hired more staff. Cassia became the general manager. But fame brought unexpected visitors. One rainy November afternoon, a hunched figure walked into the bakery. Drenched, wearing worn-out shoes and a threadbare coat. It took me a second to recognize her. Eleanor. She looked homeless. "Maeve," she whispered. "I'm sorry to come here. I had nowhere else." "Eleanor, what happened?" "Thaddeus died 3 months ago. His heart finally gave out. Sutton got evicted and moved into a shelter. Callahan gives me what he can, but he's barely scraping by. I've been sleeping at a women's shelter in Uptown. I came to ask for help." I felt a knot in my stomach. For years, I had fantasized about this moment, seeing her beg. But looking at her, I felt no joy. Only a deep, heavy pity. "Sit down," I said. I brought her hot coffee and a fresh scone. She ate it like it was the most precious thing in the world, hands shaking. "I can't hire you," I said gently. "It would be too complicated." "I know. I just need a place to be during the day. I'll sweep, wash dishes, anything." "I can't do that. But I have a small storage room in the back that's heated. It has a cot. You can stay there for a few days until you find a better shelter." Eleanor broke down weeping. "I don't deserve your kindness. I'm not doing it for you, Eleanor. I'm doing it for me. Because I refuse to become what you were." Eleanor stayed for a week. We barely spoke. She sat in the back, reading. On the 7th day, she came to me. "I'm leaving. I found a bed at a hospice facility." "Hospice? I have late-stage pancreatic cancer. They gave me a few months. I just wanted to say thank you. You taught me something I never learned. Unconditional generosity." She walked out into the Chicago cold. 2 months later, I received a letter. "Dear Maeve, if you're reading this, I'm gone. You were the best daughter-in-law I could have asked for, and I was the worst mother-in-law imaginable. I am so ashamed. Thank you for the coffee. Thank you for not judging me. If you ever find it in your heart, give Callahan a chance. He has changed. If not, at least don't carry the anger. I die in peace because of you. Eleanor." I went to her grave in a modest cemetery in the suburbs. Callahan had texted me the plot number. I laid down white flowers. When I turned around, Callahan was standing a few feet away. He looked serene. "Thanks for coming," he said. "She wrote me a letter." "Me too. She told me to watch out for you." "What are you going to do now?" "Move to Austin, Texas. Fresh start. I'm still in therapy. I want to be the man you deserved, even if I never get to be with you again." I nodded. "Good luck, Callahan." He didn't follow me as I walked to my car, and that, in a way, gave me hope. A year later, the summer sun was shining brightly over Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. The resort town buzzed with tourists as I stood outside my second bakery location. "The painter's just finished, Maeve," Cassia said, handing me a clipboard. "We open next month. Have you settled on a name?" "Yes. Maeve's Liberty." Cassia smiled. "Retiring the vengeance? Transforming it. Vengeance saved me, but liberty keeps me alive." That evening, as I was walking near the lake, I saw a stray dog huddled in a doorway, a scruffy terrier mix with a slight limp. I crouched down. "Hey there, buddy. Are you lost?" He hesitated, then crept over and licked my hand. He had big, soulful eyes. I picked him up. "I'm taking you home. I think I'll call you Liberty." On opening day, the Lake Geneva shop was packed. I stood at the front, holding Liberty on a new leash. "Welcome to Maeve's Liberty," I announced to the cheering crowd. "A place for sweet memories and new beginnings." Through the crowd, I saw a familiar face. Callahan. He was wearing a casual polo, looking healthier than I'd seen him in years. He walked up to me when the crowd thinned. "I saw the news online. I was passing through on my way to the airport for Austin. Just wanted to bring you a parting gift." He handed me a small velvet box. Inside was a simple silver compass star necklace. "It's the North Star," he said. "To remind you that you can always find your way, even when you're lost." Not a romantic gesture, just a thank you for waking me up. "It's beautiful, Callahan. Thank you. Have a safe flight." He smiled a sad but genuine smile, turned, and disappeared into the summer crowd. I looked down at Liberty, who barked happily at a passing seagull. I took out my phone and pulled up my notes app. I started typing. At the end of the day, it all comes down to a choice. You can stay in the place where they hurt you, hoping they'll change. Or you can leave, build your own home, and prove to yourself you deserve better. I chose to leave. It wasn't easy, but the true meaning of freedom isn't something someone hands you. It's something you conquer, day by day, decision by decision. I locked my phone, clipped the leash to Liberty's collar, and opened the door to the bakery. The smell of cinnamon and sugar filled the air. My new life had begun, and it was wonderfully, beautifully sweet.